Hi, Shannon here, and welcome to another video. I guess you could call this a bonus video. I'm jumping on because I just really felt compelled to do so. If you've watched any of my other videos, particularly the life update one that I just posted earlier this week, kind of has to do with that. And it's not necessarily about me personally, it's actually about my husband and what actually just happened at his job and how he's feeling. And I don't think he would be angry with me for sharing this because, well, I think we all struggle with this and to some degree at some point in our lives. So, what is that? It's what to do when you're so stuck and you have no direction, but you know you have to do something, you just don't know what. And so I thought I would share a few things that have helped me over the years when I've struggled with this. And the very first thing I would suggest is remembering all that you've done in the past. Revisit past accomplishments and even different challenges and things that you didn't think you could do, but you did. And what I mean by that is, I think sometimes we forget just how successful we've been in the past and how competent and capable we can be in the present. And because of that, we lose our confidence and it leaves us feeling insecure and uncertain. And so when you're in a situation that you don't know what's going to happen next and you are literally frozen to the spot because I don't know, either you're afraid of making the wrong decision or you just lack complete direction, it helps us to remember that, hey, I've done difficult things in the past. I've done things that I didn't know how to do before and I succeeded and I can do it again. This is so bizarre. Just the other day, I was reading a book, and it was called "The Care and Feeding of a Pet Black Hole." And I apologize, I'm blanking on the author's name, but I really, really enjoyed the little line art illustrations in the book as I was reading, which is ironic because I just finished reading "Charlie and the Chocolate Factory" again by Roald Dahl, and I loathed the illustrations in it. Oh, it was hard for me to read because I just couldn't stand how they looked. And it was funny because I went back to the care and feeding of a pet black hole, and the the illustration style of the outside front cover did not match the illustrations in the book. So I went to the copyright page, and lo and behold, the cover art, the outside cover was done by somebody else, but the author, the writer herself, actually did the line art inside. And I thought, oh man, that would be a lot of fun because the current series that I'm working on has a lot of futuristic stuff. And I think, oh, that'd be really cool to be able to give kids a peek into what I'm thinking while I'm writing, what these things actually look like or would look like. But it would be really expensive for me to pay an illustrator to do that. So it'd be cost prohibitive. And it dawned on me, well, maybe this woman did it. Maybe I could do it. And then I remembered my very first college degree is in what? Illustration. I have been so in the trenches of being a mom, so in the trenches of special needs parenting, so in the trenches of making ends meet by any ways possible. I completely forgot that I had a life and a career and hopes and dreams prior to all of that. I mean, we're talking like well over 20 years ago. And so I actually went out into the garage and into our file cabinet and I looked at my first degree. Had my name, production illustration, which was actually a combined coursework of graphic design and illustration. But yeah, I used to illustrate and I thought, wow, no time like the present to try that again. And so I'm sharing that story because I know it's easy to forget how capable we are because I do it too. And so when you are stuck and fear has a death grip on you, take the time and the effort to go back on memory lane and revisit things you've done in the past. And I'm not saying do the same thing, but what I'm saying is refresh your memory. Think of hard things. Remember how you've succeeded. remember how you've persevered, and then use that to your advantage where you are now. I think it's so important to remember that even when we feel like we can't move, we are never starting with nothing. You might be starting at start. All of us start at the beginning with anything, but you never start empty-handed. You've got all that you already know. You have the ability to troubleshoot and access resources. Chances are you have more resources now than you did back then. I mean, think about it, where we are right now with technology. I mean, when I was in school, we were still using printed and bound encyclopedias. Our kids now just get on the internet. You can find the answer to anything literally after a few keystrokes. You can train yourself for free on YouTube. You can get online courses relatively cheap in some places, really expensive in other places. I mean, just, you're already on YouTube watching this video. There is a crap ton of free training out there. You want to start over? You want to reinvent yourself? Start now. Don't let fear continue to rob you from the better future that you could be getting right now or working towards right now. And hey, I am guilty. Like I just shared that story. It takes an effort to remind ourselves that our feelings can't always be trusted. I mean, even this morning I woke up, and maybe that's part of the reason I jumped on the video, is because I wrote 4 new chapters in the book yesterday that I'm working on, and I enjoyed it. It was great. But this morning I woke up, and it's not that I don't have ideas, it's that the starting is difficult. Getting back into it is difficult. Getting into that flow and that rhythm, because, little voices in your head tell you this is a waste of time. You should be doing something else. And the fact of the reality is, maybe I should be doing something else. But you know what? And I shared this little bit of advice with my husband over the last several days. I would rather be doing something than nothing. I would rather make some progress than no progress. And you know what? Truth be told, I'd rather make a mistake and go in a wrong direction, because even a bad choice you can learn from. Even failures and mistakes, they are stepping stones. They are progress. Because if you try something and you screw up, either you determine, I just don't have enough skills to do that right now, and I need to learn more and invest more time and effort into practice. Or 2, I don't enjoy it. And that's an answer and solution in and of itself. That gives you direction. Whereas if you had just sat where you were, frozen to the spot, not doing anything, you wouldn't have the clarity of knowing what you did or didn't enjoy. So it's Friday. We're coming up on a weekend, and you know what? The other thing is, we get to have a fresh start whenever we want to. That's one of the reasons I loathe New Year's resolutions, is why do we have to wait for a new year to have a fresh start? No. Sometimes my fresh start is a new notebook or a new pen. Sometimes my fresh start is the next morning. Sometimes the fresh start is a blank computer screen, and instead of being scared of it, I'm going to try and embrace it with excitement and hopeful anticipation, because you know what? At least I'm doing something. So I encourage you to stop letting your feelings dictate your movements and your actions and your choices, and instead focus on the facts of what you've done in the past and how you can help yourself now get to where it is, or at least get started on the journey to where it is you want to be. If you've watched this whole video, thanks so much for keeping me company. And if you're not a subscriber, I invite you to like this video and join our community. Until the next time, bye-bye.